Rebecca Lombardo, host of Vendor Vibes and fractional CMO. Today, I'm here with my friend Jodi from Timber Rock Village. Hi, Jodi.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining me. So, today I'm putting a little twist on the normal Vendor Vibes video. I would love to talk about how you choose your vendors, but first, let's learn a little bit more about your company. What size would you say you guys are? How many properties do you manage?
We're small, so we have 9 properties. They're all self-owned. My husband and I, and one location. So it's just 3, 4, and 5 bedrooms, lake access properties. We did own a company that had over 500 properties that I sold a few years ago. And I am starting another company down in Southwest Florida.
So, this is not your first rodeo.
Not my first rodeo.
And where are you based geographically?
My primary company's in Western Maryland and Deep Creek Lake.
Excellent. And how many staff do you have approximately?
Two. And I
Two.
say that because I had 230 before. So it's just like I have two.
Perfect. So, I guess kind of based on your current size and your previous knowledge, how do you choose your vendors?
So, well, we can talk because I started a new company. So, right, I had to pick all new vendors from the beginning. So, I went to a lot of the vendors that I had used before. But a good thing to know is not all the vendors will want to partner with small companies because you have to have a certain number of properties. So that was an eye-opening for me. Yep. And because I used to not have that issue. I mean, I had 500 homes. So it was very eye-opening, but I mean, I talked to a lot of them and I picked certain software based on my previous knowledge and then also of where I want to be. Timber Rock's not looking to grow exponentially, but my new company that we're starting will be in Southwest Florida. So, and I wanted to use similar software if I could, right? So it didn't get too complicated in learning new software. Um, so property management software was my first choice. And I had to do a lot of talking because I am a smaller operator. But they knew my past and kind of what I worked and what we did. And then they knew what I'll be building with my other company. So that was more of I've worked because in property management software, I've probably been involved with 4 or 5 different, and I wanted something that I could grow into and not something that I'd grow out of, because that is not fun. If anybody changed property software, they probably would agree with me. That's the worst. So I wanted something I could grow into and not grow out of, which was my end result.
I've heard it's like a root canal.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Um, yeah, so it's and I chose a software that had for what I needed with just 9 properties is very basic. I could do a lot of stuff manually, but I did want all the bells and whistles I was so used to. And it also goes with revenue management. Like that was something that I wanted something that was tied that can read my property management software easily. That was the second software I
So,
purchased.
do you think it's better to choose a technology first, and in that case, a PMS first, or do you choose like services first, like cleaning partner? You know what I mean? Like, is it better to choose technology partners first and services partners second?
So for us, technology was first for me because of only having 9 properties. I can manually, for my size, manually do housekeeping schedules, hot tub schedules, and all that stuff. Um, However, if I was larger, I would have been looking for a property management software system that had those capabilities built into it or an easy fix if they did not. So like we all know, like it'd be great to have a one size fits all kind of software, but there's not. So sometimes they've improved stuff and sometimes you have to use other software. So for me, at my size, property management software was definitely my first thing I chose.
So that was actually going to be my next question. So, once you pick a property management software, do you pick other technology or add on to your stack, as they say, from there based on what came with the PMS?
Yeah. So the next thing I was looking at was revenue management. software that could do the rates in Deep Creek, which is somewhat different than other areas. It's not like your beach access and it's all week longs. And, Deep Creek is a little bit different. We have four seasons, different types of nightly minimums based on the season. So I've worked with different revenue management software, and I kind of knew what I wanted that would work right. So revenue management was my second. Oh, I should say also website provider. Like that, I was actually at the same time as my property management software. And that's we honestly though, I'm probably not the best person like with the property manager or not with the property manager, with a website provider. I've only dealt with two in the 25 years I have been in vacation rentals. And one was it was back in the day when I was with VDS. If you remember Visual Data System, love them. And I think they were just getting out of the business and all their gurus went elsewhere. I mean, they're still here. Like they're all amongst other software systems and website providers. So I picked my internet based on past history of who I knew, and that was really based on support.
Mm, okay.
So here's another nugget for your small managers that you don't always get a client, like a client support person when you're smaller. You have to put tokens in. I'm like, what's the token? I didn't know that. But yeah, so it's just a little bit different because we're smaller. So like they had to be able to prioritize things, and I got it. But yeah, so property management software and website provider, same time.
So, in the instance where you weren't able to go back and work with somebody you were familiar with, how did you find the someone new?
Well, let's see. So when you talk about my tech stack, I had to talk to friends, associates. My brother is a tech guru. I tried to get him here, he couldn't. He's a tech guru and he's actually the owner of a company, but doesn't come to the trade shows, but his people all come. So I usually talk to him. And then I kind of just see like you got to talk about telephone providers. For me, I didn't need to do anything. Like I could use an inspection like software system. Right now we're doing it manually, but I'll probably be including that to my tech stack soon as we get bigger. I will be including it with my newer company because I'm not there. So it's not me doing it. So I'll probably have that software down there as well. Um, I did just add another tech to my stack, which I was I haven't been that excited about tech in a long time as I is about this one because it worked immediately. But I got the reference was from another vendor at the showcase at International. They literally walked me over to talk to them because I'm like, I'm thinking I want to do this. This is what I want to do and how I want to do it. And they're like, well, let me introduce you.
So, a vendor that you know introduced you to another vendor that was not, they were totally different companies.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm finding is I'm like more and more vendors, even though they're not the same company, they work somewhat together. So they're aligning their systems together. So they kind of know each company knows what the other companies are doing. So that one was a really good add-on. Let's see, I've added other ones because I do a lot of, well, we're designing our own properties. So there's a couple of new well, not techs, but like vendors I've been choosing. And it's based, a lot of it for me is customer support and response time. And so for me, like I've chosen them just based on it. And then the buy-in, like what do they really want to know what your company does? And so they could tell you the best product for your company, or are they just trying to sell you, right? I'm
Mhm.
kind of like someone that's invested in me. So I chose one, and that was a really good partner, and she's been great. I actually met her in the Annapolis conference when they had a Connect there in Annapolis a couple years ago. And I think that was her first conference with VRMA, I'm pretty sure. But and then she introduced me to another company to help me buy different furniture from different companies across the like all different companies are furniture companies out there. So yeah, so a lot of it's been like vendor to vendors showing me other vendors that I might not have been aware of. So that's been really helpful.
I feel like that's like a secret underground piece of knowledge is that vendors make friends and talk to each other.
Yeah.
Uh, especially, I mean, if you get a salesperson, right, they're outgoing, they're friendly, they're going to make friends, they're going to be aware, they're going to inform themselves, the marketplace, and then they become the go-to person amongst other vendors.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's been very helpful. But like it's a lot. So you're taking out a lot of the research in the front go, and then you can talk to other people because I always ask like, who else are who else are your clients? So I usually talk to other clients to see how they are because at the end of the day, I'm going to want to know about their support because what is their support like on a July 4th when when you're slammed? What happens? So that's usually what I end up doing. So the referrals.
And then the next set of questions here is more about like, okay, once you find out about them, what does your research look like? Do you look at their website? You said you talk to other clients.
Yeah, so I'll look at their website. I'll see like different, because a lot of them offer different packages and different kind of stuff. So I look through there. Then I'll ask for referrals, like different clients that they use. A lot of them have like those splash pages with all the logos. So normally I know some of them because I know a lot of, the VRMA members. So I normally know some of them. So I'll look there and then I'll go make some phone calls and talk to people. And then I like to do their demos. And I found like my brother used to do the demos for us, but by doing the demos, I kind of understand a little bit more instead of just reading it on an email, like what they provide. So demos are really important to me. And then I ask, like, because I feel like sometimes people that are vendors, when they build technology, they build it to be worked in one way, but us savvy property managers find different ways to utilize it. So that's another thing when you talk to referrals is to ask like how do they use it? And maybe it's not real, and you could find like, secret sauces kind of like what they use it for. A lot of that's like property management software that you can find like they make it to designed it to do a certain thing, but a lot of people use it differently. So I usually talk to the referrals.
Yeah, and a few of them have set up private Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups for their clients so the clients can kind of chat amongst themselves.
Oh, I didn't know that. I like that idea.
Yeah, and pick each other's brain about usage. So
Yeah,
I
it's like
definitely.
experts, right? It's like you talk to the experts. So like, and I have a group that we get together once a year called the VRX. There's like 12 of our companies, and we find, and it maybe just it happened over time, but we have commonalities where we all use certain software, or at least half of us. So then we'll do our own user group and we'll sit and talk about what's working, what's not working. How do you do this and how do you do that? Kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, that's an excellent peer resource. Was
Mhm.
there any other piece of advice or learnings from choosing vendors that you want to share?
Well, I feel like, I can talk out both sides with being a larger company and being a smaller company. Larger company, it's harder to move. It's hard to make changes, like hard to make property management software changes, revenue management stuff. It's hard to make changes because you have so many smaller, more nimble. And so, but I've seen other smaller property managers where they don't do the research first. They don't have the background. They don't go to a VRMA to be able to walk like all the trade show, which I think is very, very valuable. Um, they don't have the referrals. So like I said, I know a lot of people in the industry, so I know a lot of people to talk to. They don't have that. So maybe it'd be great to be able to have those, like you were saying, the vendor forums for like newer companies to be like, hey, I want to chat with you, and because they don't have the connections. That would be a really good thing to have out there. But being smaller, just do the research, talk to your current vendors and tell them like what you're thinking you want. And if it's not in their capacity, maybe they can point you in a direction and they'll know because they're not going to point you in a direction with people they don't like that are bad operators. They're going to point you in directions because they want you to have a good experience. So
And
talk to,
VRMA, yeah, VRMA has ambassadors now, right?
yeah.
So maybe they can help make intros as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. They have ambassadors, which is usually like to welcoming people into the membership and stuff. But I like that, where if you can have in the ambassadors people with skill sets of knowing the vendors. We did talk about at the showcase having like ambassadors and people from different committees to be up front and have registration. So when you are a newer company, not a small company necessarily, but just a newer company coming attendee, that like if you want help like walking the showroom, that might be nice. So like you can show like the different technology that's out there and and I think they were talking about like a display board and stuff. So we're trying to do that so it's easier for people, but it'd be nice to have that online too. Now that I'm thinking out loud with you and everyone else.
Great brainstorm. Well, thank you so much for sharing these insights. I know that my audience is going to really, really appreciate all of it. So thank you for your time.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, everyone.